This evening, I'd like to share a little personal recollection, an episode of family history that I've shared in speaking about Our Lady on other occasions, but I believe, of course, this morning and now this evening, the first time I've shared it here in this community. And it's always a special joy for me to share it. It goes back to the fall of 2002 when I was a freshman at the University of Dallas, Texas. I was the oldest, the first to go away to college, and it became a nightly ritual back home. I was told this later by my mom and dad and sister who remained at home, and when they'd have dinner every night, my mom would muse at the dinner table, "I wonder what Ben is having for dinner tonight." And it became this thing she did every single evening, until late in that fall, late in that semester, my first time away, finally my sister, sitting across the table one night, said, "Who cares what Ben is having for dinner tonight?" She had grown weary of this nightly question, this nightly repetitive thing that my mom was doing. Who cares, right? Who cares what he's having for dinner? Who cares about such a mundane detail? My sister was getting fatigued by this. This feast of the motherhood of Mary, this holy day of obligation, this other Marian feast, that's not like the two others that we celebrate in the course of the year that are obligatory for us to come to Mass and to offer praise and thanksgiving to God for the gift of Our Lady in our life and our faith. The Assumption of Our Lady, August 15th, the Immaculate Conception of Our Lady, December 8th, and so many other feasts of Mary that we celebrate, so many other parts of who Mary is to us that we celebrate. And so many of the other ones are mysterious. They speak of really high ideas, that Mary was conceived without original sin, or that she was assumed body and soul into heaven at the end of her life. The one we celebrate today is very ordinary. It's that Mary is a mother. The motherhood of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Who cares what Ben is having for dinner? Who cares but a mother, right? Mary cares about you and about me because we are her children. It's one of the glories of our faith. It's a great gift that we turn to her on this day, the first day of the year, this pivot point in the year, at least we hope it is. Many of us aspire to greater things in this year. Perhaps we're giving thanks that the preceding year is done and maybe we can make a fresh start. But in the end, that's just kind of an arbitrary thing, that the calendar happens to flip over on this day. What really matters is this day, as Catholics, we celebrate a piece of who we are. We celebrate the fact that Mary is our mother, that she has been given to us by her Son, and not just in an accidental way, but as St. Paul says, when we received our adoption as sons and daughters of God, we received it in the same way he did, through Mary, through his earthly existence, through being born of a woman, as St. Paul said. Who cares about the mundane details of our lives except our mother? And who of us, even if we didn't happen to have a tender relationship with our mother, for those of us who did, it's a wonderful blessing. But that's the other good news of today, is that we do have a mother. We do have a mother who cares about us, not just about the easy things, the joyous things, but a mother who was given to us at the cross of her Son. At the cross of her Son. When Jesus said to St. John, "Behold your mother," and then to his mother, "Behold your son." So we know in faith, we have absolute certainty that Mary cares about us. She cares what we're having for dinner. She cares that we feel bad about maybe a tough conversation that we had to have with someone in the course of the day. She cares that we are trying to imitate her Son in the way we live our lives and our vocations, and she stands ready to help us. She stands ready to listen at every moment. She is our great intercessor. As one of my favorite spiritual writers says, she wants to be everything for us that she was for her Son. companion, friend. She's with him at every step of the way. Her last words in the gospel happen early on, her last recorded words. But we know that she was there silently every step of the way with her son, and so will she be for us. Perhaps some of us welcomed the new year last night by staying up late. I didn't make it myself, but I've done it in previous years, and watching the ball drop in Times Square in New York City. How many watched that? A few. So it's a great social ritual. It's a joyous thing, people gathering, great crowds of people. But I was struck by something yesterday I heard in one of the news reports early in the morning, a reporter had gone out to Times Square where even early in the day people were already gathering to stake out a spot for that event. And the reporter referred to people gathering in pens. Pens. I'm thinking, that sounds awful. To gather in a pen, like an animal, in a huge crowd where the person standing next to me at this very important moment has no idea who I am. How interesting is it? Contrast that with our mother who wants to know everything about us so that she can love us even more. The mother who wants us to have confidence to reveal ourselves, to tell her what we're carrying, to tell her what we're experiencing day after day after day. To welcome the new year with a stranger as a stranger in a crowd, that doesn't let us be known. It might be fun, it might be enjoyable, it might be memorable, but what really gives us confidence, what really gives us hope at an important moment like the welcoming of a new year is to know who we are. To know who we are. Today in the church we celebrate the World Day of Prayer for Peace, traditionally on January 1st. No accident there either. How much our world is in need of just and lasting peace in so many places for so many peoples. All the violence and the ugliness and the sin and evil that's in the world. And we pray for peace this day. And it is, again, no accident that we turn to Our Lady to help us do that. Because when we turn to our mother, she helps us know who we are. True peace, the most important peace, the most fundamental peace, has to do with knowing who I am, knowing that I am loved and that I am worthy of love and that I ought to be a vessel of love for others. That's true peace. That's the basis of true peace, and that's what Mary gives us. So for those of us who felt that love and that tenderness of our own mother, who cared about what we ate for dinner, for those of us maybe who didn't have that blessing, but who long for it and who can find it in Our Lady as this great boast of our faith, again, as I always say on these days, far from having to apologize for Mary, we need to celebrate her. We need to let other people know the joy and the peace we find in having her as our mother. When we know that, when we have that true peace of being known and loved, that's what enables us to know and love God even more. So we pray for that grace in this year of mercy, that we might extend to someone else that mercy of telling him, you have a mother. You have a mother who loves you. You have a mother who will intercede for you before the throne of her Son, a mother to whom he will not ever say no. Who cares what any of us do except a mother and her love? Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good.